Now, in India, a new pension program's been created to help out low-income earners. It is noble in the extreme, a social security initiative which doesn't exclude society's poorest. But in a country of well over 1 billion people, you have to think about whether India can actually afford this. Now, poverty in India is defined by something called the Tendulkar formula. Nothing to do with cricket. Tendulkar was a well-known economist in this case. He believed those living below 43 cents a day in rural areas and 53 cents in urban could be defined as below the poverty line. They accounted for 270 million people, or 21.9% of the population. But Tendulkar's findings were revised upwards by the former Reserve Bank governor, C. Ragarajan, in 2014. His committee changed the parameters. He upped the threshold to between 51 and 75 cents from rural to urban. That pushes a further 93 million Indians into the poor category, almost 30% of the population. The point we're making here, though, is whichever scale you want to use, there are a lot of people in India who live below the poverty line, hundreds of millions of them, in fact. Can the government fund, support and maintain these sorts of numbers in its pension program? Faiz Jamil looks at that.
Gauri started working to support her family, but never gave any thought to how she would support herself in retirement.
I didn't have any savings. I didn't know what a pension was until I started working here.
Gauri's case is unusual. That's because she was able to invest in a private pension fund with the help of her employer. But for hundreds of millions of others in India's low-paying, unorganized job sector, financial security in retirement is often not possible. Many low-income earners rely on their children and families to support them in retirement. The government has announced its intention to launch a new pension initiative for these workers. It's not the first. Previous governments have tried to create similar programs. But fiscal experts warn the cost of running it successfully could significantly affect the national budget. Others argue the large cost would also come with a long-term benefit.
It will keep the people who are participating in this pension scheme above poverty when they're old. And simultaneously, what it will do is it will make sure that their children will not need to support their parents when the parents are old. So the children will be able to then devote 100% of their income in supporting themselves and their own children.
Is because within about
Non-profit groups have also started private pension funds for low-income earners. While welcoming the new program, some are warning the government not to take a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to low-paid workers.
all of them have intermittent incomes and their income patterns are different. So say a farmer earns his money twice a year, domestic help gets good money, but she's highly portable. Today she's working for you, tomorrow she's working for someone else.
Gauri says her adult children have also started contributing to her private pension and plan to start their own. But for all those the new Social Security program is meant to cover, their lack of awareness is the biggest challenge for the government to overcome.